Well, you already read the title of the video, so you know what this is going to be about. Before I say anything else, I feel I should preface what I'm about to say by making two things perfectly clear. The first thing is that this is not a declaration that I am done making YouTube videos, that I'm done with this channel, and that you'll never see any more content from me. I'm just done specifically with making Legend of Zelda abridged series videos. Like, I'm just not doing another Zelda abridged series, but I'm not done making videos. Second thing I want to make clear is that even though I'm not making another Zelda abridged series, that doesn't necessarily mean that the next thing I make won't be Zelda related. Or that I'm done with Zelda parodies in general. The next thing I make could be Zelda related, or maybe not. I still don't know yet. But I just want you to understand, I'm not necessarily done with Zelda, just the whole thing where I go from episode to episode, from the beginning of the game to the end of the game. That's not going to happen again. With all that said, feel free to react accordingly. I understand if you want to unsubscribe. I mean, if you subscribe to me specifically for my Legend of Zelda Abridged series, I can't exactly hold it against you if you unsubscribe from my channel. That's not mean of you or anything, that just makes perfect sense. Now, if you're curious as to why I'm not doing another Zelda Abridged series, I am going to spend the rest of the video kind of explaining that. There is going to be a shorter kind of summary of what I'm saying in the description of the video, so if you want to save some time and read that, that's fine. But if you want a bit of a longer explanation, then here you go. What it essentially boils down to is just sort of this general feeling I have about the videos I make, and this general feeling just comes from the whole bunch of things I've just been thinking about over the past, I don't know, 5 months. I can't really put a clock on this stuff. It's just multiple things. Like, I've been, one issue is I've sort of been feeling redundant because I'm basically just doing the same thing that Adam with Lapdog did, and there was really no need for a second person to come along and make Zelda Abridged series. And, I jumped on this Zelda abridging bandwagon thing like years ago, and I'm just, I feel like I'm just kind of ready to get off it now. And then I've been thinking about the people I admire and look up to, and who the people who inspire me creatively, and what they would think about my videos. And it would be impossible for me to try to point to one thing and say, like, that is the definitive reason I'm not making these videos anymore. Like, no, it's a combination of things. But what it all essentially comes down to is just this general feeling that I'm no longer able to feel proud of the videos I make. And what I mean by that is, I'm no longer able to make something. I may spend weeks working on a video, but I'm no longer able to look at that video and be like, hey, I'm really happy with this, and I want to show it off to people, and I'm proud of this. I just don't feel that way anymore. And the fact that I'm not able to feel proud of something I've done creatively really sucks. And I just feel like the only way I can overcome that feeling is to just take everything that just basically take all the skills that I've acquired over the course of making these past 3 video series and just channel that all through a different medium, hopefully doing something more unique and more original, at least, than what I'm doing now. I'm sorry if that doesn't really explain things too well. It was the most concise way I could think to put that. Now, I don't want to give off the impression that, like, I'm ashamed of everything I've done the last 4+ years and that, none of it was worth it or anything like that. No, I don't want to give off that impression at all. I mean, if anything, it was great practice. I mean, like, look at my first episode and compare it to my most recent episode, and, undoubtedly there's an improvement across the board in terms of the quality of the voice acting, the writing, the video editing, the sound editing. I got so much better at doing this kind of thing, and then, of course, there's all the messages I got from people who was like, hey, I was having a shitty day and you cheered me up. And hey, I had a positive influence in the lives of complete strangers on the internet, so that's all good. And so this whole Zelda abridging thing, it was all totally worth it, and it was a lot of fun while it lasted. I just feel it's time for me to move on to something else. I've just kind of outgrown the idea of the whole Zelda abridging thing. When I say outgrowing, I don't mean like in an age sense or in a maturity sense. I just, it's just the idea is no longer as interesting to me as it used to be. I know there's a lot of people that want to see me do a Skyward Sword Abridged series, and I'm sorry, I just don't have it in me to do another one of these things. I mean, even if I tried, maybe it would seem fresh at first. Maybe I'd start and I'd be like, hey, you know what, I got energy. I got all this energy back. There's new characters and a new setting and blah, blah, blah. But my guess, I'd do it, and then like 2 episodes in, I'd be right back to where I am now, and then I'd sort of be stuck like, shit, now I have to finish the series. And I don't want to put myself in that position. However, that does not mean that I won't necessarily do an abridged parody of Skyward Sword. I might very well make a Skyward Sword Super Abridged, you know, just kind of do a one-shot video where I do the entire game in one, where I basically cram the entirety of the game into a single video. I can do that. That doesn't require a great deal of commitment. That doesn't, like, take up a year or more of my life. You know, that's just a single video. I can do a single video. I'm not guaranteeing anybody that I am going to do this, but hey, if I get the ideas, if I have enough joke ideas, if I have the motivation, if I have the inspiration, you know, hey, sure, I will do a Skyward Sword parody for you guys. As for what I'm going to be moving on to next, I'm not really sure yet. I'm going to kind of go on hiatus for a bit to sort of figure that out. Kind of like I did after I finished Ocarina of Time. It's the same idea. I'm going to take a few months to just sort of, you know, figure out what direction I want to go in with this channel, and then I'll come back later with new content for you guys. And, you know, I know that obviously when I come back with whatever new content it is, that it's not initially going to receive the same feedback, the same level of feedback that my current videos do. I'm well aware that, you know, anything that's not Zelda Abridged related is initially, you know, not going to get nearly as many views or as many likes or, you know, as many comments as the stuff I make now. You know, but I'm well aware of that. But I'd much rather move on to something else that I'm happy with and that I'm proud of than to keep doing something that I'm just not having as much fun doing anymore, just for the sake of desperately clinging on to the popularity of my older videos. I mean, I know I'm not that tremendously popular on the internet, but my Zelda Abridged series videos are the videos that get the majority of the views and the comments and the likes and whatever. So, for the people who plan on unsubscribing, I totally understand. I appreciate the feedback you've given me up to this point, so thank you for that. I feel like I should also extend a friendly thank you to Adam West Lapdog, who, if I, you know, had not watched his videos, I would not have been inspired to make my own abridged series. So I do thank Adam for that. I do thank Adam for inspiring me to make the 3+ abridged series that I did make, and, you know, that ended up acquiring me as many subscribers as they did. So thank you, Adam. Thank you for the inspiration. And for the people who still plan on sticking around and staying subscribed to my channel, I will see you guys later. Take care.